my God, if I die, I'm a legend. When they lay me down to rest, I know I was always repping. Oh my God, my whole life.
There's no power in Europe. Germany is not an independent country. It's still occupied by the Americans. Germany is a puppet state, like France, like Great Britain, like Italy, Belgium, the Netherlands. These are not real governments. These are puppet states of Washington. They would never go against Washington. It would be the end of them. All the money would be cut off, sanctions, trade. NATO itself is not strong in the sense of being strong from America. NATO is an American operation. NATO is one of the ways the United States has made Europe into an empire for the U.S. They don't, it's how Washington makes their foreign policy decisions for them, how it makes their security decisions for them. The notion that Germany is going to come up and stand up to Washington that's implausible. It doesn't matter what anybody in Europe says. They don't go against Washington. Look what's happened to France. It was a few years ago where we forced the French to cancel contracts they had with Russia, building some kind of ships. We forced them to cancel them, and even though it put huge numbers of French workmen out of jobs, and the French had to pay huge sums of money, billions of dollars, to the Russians for violating the contracts. Right after that, we brought charges against the big French bank, and we forced them to give almost all their capital to us. Well, we were going to do terrible things. Well, the French government never did anything but go along with Washington. It let us destroy its shipbuilding industry. It let us literally destroy its biggest bank. I mean, what do? They do nothing. There were years ago, I had an opportunity to ask the Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Affairs in Washington, in his office. I said, how is it the United States always gets Europe to do what we want? Money, he said. I said, oh, you mean foreign aid? No. We give the leaders bagfuls of money. We own them. They report to us. That's the story. He didn't make it up. He actually didn't approve of it, but he couldn't do anything. Well, you see, that is part of the neocon concern. If Europe is dependent on Russian energy, then American control over Europe erodes. So Europe being dependent on Russian energy undermines U.S. hegemony over Europe. And so this was another reason for the sanctions. It was to break up the business relationships and the energy dependence between Europe and Russia. And it was followed by the destruction of the North Sea pipelines. So Europe knows that, but they accepted it. They haven't said, oh, you mean Americans. our energy prices have tripled. They haven't said anything. They continue supplying Ukraine. Europe is part of the American empire. There's no independent government in Europe. There's not a single government anywhere in Europe that's independent.
The only people that are happy with the price are Americans. We're making a lot of money. But is that friendship? If you and I are friends and you had a supply of, let's say you're addicted to ice cream and you had a supply of ice cream. And I said, no, you can't buy ice cream from this guy. I'll sell you ice cream. You go, okay. And you send that guy away. But it costs you 25 cents to have that ice cream. And I come in, I go, $5. You go, what the hell? I could get ice cream for 25 cents. It was better ice cream. Your ice cream sucks and you're charging me $5. That's what's going on with Europe right now. The United States got them to walk away from the best thing that ever happened to them economically. Cheap Russian gas made Europe economically viable for the last several decades. And instead, they're buying this expensive American LNG. Oh yeah, Germany's filled up its gas reserves. It's 2 months stock. It's going to be emptied. It was 57% full when this crisis began. That was Russian gas, by the way. So the United States has enabled them to bring up, 43%. 2 cold months, it's all gone. Now they got to fill it up again for next winter. Where are they going to get the gas? From the United States? Not a single German industry is going to survive at that price. They can't afford to stay in business. So, no, the United States isn't a friend. That's what Europe needs to understand. The United States is not your friend. The United States only serves the United States. We don't care about you, France. We don't care about you, England. We don't care about you, Germany. All we care about is us. And as Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said, when Nord Stream 1 was blown up, Nord Stream 1 and 2, this is a great opportunity. Imagine something horrible happened to you and I'm your friend. I should say, hey, I'm sorry that happened. That's awful. Are you okay? Instead, it's a great opportunity, man. Don't worry about it. It's a great opportunity for me. What kind of friend would do that? America does it because they're not your friend. What does the EU do? It doesn't strengthen Europe. It weakens Europe. The EU is a mechanism where the United States controls Europe, just like NATO is a mechanism where the United States controls Europe. The EU can't survive without the United States. Wait a minute, it's the EU. America's not a member of the EU. Yeah, I know. But the EU sort of takes its guidance from the G7. The G7 is dominated by the United States. American economic policy dictates European economic policy. Find me a European nation that's willing to say no to an American sanction of another country. They won't, because they know what will happen. They're cowards. They're children. They're 32-year-old children living in their mother's basement. They can't get out because they're scared. They're so used to having mommy feed them, mommy tell them what to do, that they're afraid to get out and live on their own. That's Europe. A bunch of scared children living in their mother's basement. The mother is the United States. And that's NATO. There's not a single viable military in Europe today. Not a single one. There's not a military that can stand on its own. What about the French, you might say, with a better French accent than me? Didn't they go to Africa to fight the terrorists? Yeah. Who flew them there? We did. Who provides the intelligence support? We do. Who provides the logistics support? We do. France can't do anything without us. Nothing. And that's France. Germany. Germany can't do anything. A German military officer, you ask him to think, he's going to call up his counterpart in Washington, D.C. What should I think? What should I say? What should I do? They're incapable of independent thought. The British, if we wait much longer, there won't be a British military. It's just shrinking in front of us. The amazing shrinking man, down to nothing. There's more generals than there are, men almost. That's an exaggeration, but, no. military. The only military of any consequence in Europe is Turkey. And most of that military is actually in Asia. So no. But watch Turk Stream. Watch what happened. And Turkey's now committed to working with Russia to become an energy hub for not just Southern Europe, but all of Europe. This is a game changer for Turkey economically. So Turkey's going to work with Russia to keep
Because
its
Turkey
investments
is not
safe.
in a good shape financially, economically. He
No.
needs it.
He desperately needs it.
Erdogan needs it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This would change everything. This would give Turkey it would save the lira. It would save the Turkish economy. It would just be very good for Turkey,
Yeah.
which is why people might want to destroy the pipeline. It's also good for Russia. Turkey isn't Sweden. Sweden knows who carried out the attack. They have the evidence. They have the proof. But they're staying silent because they're scared. Turkey's not Sweden. You attack the pipeline, Turkey's going to call you out. And that's the difference. Is the United States ready to sacrifice its relationship with Turkey, permanently damage its relation with Turkey? Is the United States ready to create a process of the total dismantlement of NATO? Because that's what's at stake here. This isn't just about blowing up a pipeline. Russia will survive. You blow up the pipeline, Russia will survive. Turkey will survive, but it will become a very different Turkey than what you see. Turkey's not Germany. Turkey's not Sweden. Turkey's not sheep. Turks are wolves.